In the summer of 2000, the founders of Netflix walked into Blockbuster with an offer that now sounds impossible: buy us for $50 million. Blockbuster was the giant, with thousands of stores and a brand planted in the routine of American weekends. Netflix was a small DVD by-mail company, losing money in the shadow of the dot-com crash. By later accounts, the room was dismissive. Blockbuster said no. 10 years later, Blockbuster was in bankruptcy. Netflix was becoming the company that would rewrite television. The important question is not whether one meeting changed history. It is why the smartest people in the room could look directly at the future and decide it was not worth buying. For most of the 1990s, Blockbuster did not look vulnerable. It looked inevitable. The company had begun in Dallas in 1985, founded by David Cook, who brought a level of computerized inventory management that many local video shops did not have. In an industry built on handwritten accounts, scattered shelves, and gut instinct, Blockbuster used data. Stores could track what customers rented, how often titles moved, and which locations needed which tapes. The format was simple, bright, and family-friendly. The shelves were wide, the stock was deep. The message was reassuring. If you wanted a movie tonight, Blockbuster probably had it. That reliability became the product. In 1987, Wayne Huizenga, already known for building waste management, invested in the company and began turning it into a national machine. Blockbuster expanded aggressively through new stores and acquisitions. It bought local chains, entered shopping centers, negotiated with studios, and made the blue and yellow store a familiar landmark. The chain was not just selling access to films, it was selling a ritual. Friday night, fluorescent lights, new releases on the wall, a plastic case in your hand, and the pressure to choose before someone else took the last copy. At its peak, Blockbuster had more than 9,000 stores around the world. Its size was its moat. Its store network gave it local presence, marketing power, and a convenient place to collect the most profitable fee in the business, the late fee. Late fees were hated by customers, but they mattered. They turned time into money. If a customer returned a tape late, the store collected extra revenue without renting another copy. The model also protected availability. A due date pushed movies back onto the shelf so another customer could rent them. From the company's perspective, the penalty made operational sense. From the customer's perspective, it was a small humiliation built into the end of the evening. The entire system depended on scarcity. There were only so many copies, only so much shelf space, only one physical store nearby. Blockbuster became a master of managing scarcity, but scarcity was exactly what the internet was beginning to remove. Netflix was founded in 1997 by Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph, at a moment when DVDs were starting to replace VHS. The DVD was lighter, cheaper to mail, and less fragile than a videotape. That detail mattered more than it first appeared. A VHS by mail business was awkward. A DVD by mail business could ride inside a small red envelope through the postal system. Netflix launched as an online rental service, then moved toward a subscription model. Customers paid a monthly fee, built a queue, received DVDs by mail, and returned them without late fees. It was not yet streaming. It was not yet a studio. It was not yet a cultural force, but it had made one radical decision. It aligned the company with the customer's desire to keep a movie as long as they wanted. Blockbuster's economics often improved when customers forgot. Netflix's economics improved when customers felt relaxed enough to keep subscribing. That difference would become a fault line. In 2000, however, Netflix looked fragile. The technology market was turning. Many internet companies that had been celebrated only months earlier were collapsing. Investors were suddenly suspicious of businesses with losses, long payback periods, and grand promises about the web. Netflix had a clever idea, but it was small. It had to acquire customers, buy inventory, build distribution systems, and rely on the postal service. Blockbuster, by contrast, was a dominant retailer with brand awareness that Netflix could only dream of. So Hastings and Randolph went to Blockbuster with a proposal. Netflix would sell for around $50 million, and, in some versions of the proposal, help run Blockbuster's online operation. To Blockbuster, the offer did not look like a bargain from the future. It looked like an expensive rescue of a tiny internet company at the wrong moment. The decline of Blockbuster is often told as a story of arrogance, and there was certainly confidence. But the deeper story is more uncomfortable. Blockbuster had rational reasons to doubt Netflix. Most customers still rented in person. Broadband was limited. Streaming full-length movies was not a mainstream business. DVDs were physical products, and Blockbuster already had a physical distribution empire. The company's leaders could believe reasonably that if online rentals ever mattered, Blockbuster could build its own service later. Giants often think time belongs to them. The problem is that time belonged to the model that was learning fastest. Netflix was not merely mailing discs. It was building a machine around the internet. Its website captured preferences. Its queue smoothed demand. Its recommendation system helped customers choose from a much wider catalogue than a store could display. Its distribution centres reduced delivery times. The long tail of older and less popular films, limited by store shelves in the physical world, became more useful online. A Blockbuster store had to decide what deserved space in a particular neighbourhood. Netflix could make obscure demand visible and serve it from a centralised network. One company organised around the aisle, the other organised around the database. Blockbuster's store network, once its strongest asset, began to harden into a constraint. Thousands of leases, employees, franchise relationships, and store-level economics shaped every decision. If Blockbuster pushed too aggressively into online rentals, it risked weakening the stores that generated its cash. If it kept defending the stores, it allowed Netflix to own the fastest-growing habit. This is the classic dilemma of the incumbent. The old business is still profitable, still familiar, and still large. The new business is smaller, less certain, and often worse at first. But the new business improves while the old one asks to be protected. Blockbuster did not ignore the internet forever. Under Chief Executive John Antioco, the company launched Blockbuster Online in 2004. It also made a dramatic change by ending late fees in many stores in 2005, though the policy had conditions and became a source of customer confusion and legal scrutiny in some places. These moves showed that Blockbuster understood the threat, but understanding a threat is different from being structurally free to answer it. Removing late fees attacked a revenue stream that had long supported the business. Building online subscriptions required marketing spending, inventory, shipping operations, and patience. Store managers and franchisees had their own incentives. Wall Street wanted financial discipline. The company was also carrying burdens from its corporate history, including its years under Viacom and the pressures that followed its separation. Blockbuster was trying to become Netflix while still remaining Blockbuster. For a brief moment, it looked as if Blockbuster might catch up. In 2006, it launched Total Access, a service that allowed online subscribers to return mailed DVDs to stores and exchange them for in-store rentals. This was the kind of hybrid advantage Netflix could not easily copy. Blockbuster could connect the mailbox to the neighborhood store. Customers responded. Netflix felt the pressure and adjusted pricing, but Total Access was expensive. Each in-store exchange had a cost. The more popular the program became, the more it strained the economics of the company that needed it to succeed. At the same time, activist investor Carl Icahn and others pressed over spending and strategy. Antioco left in 2007 after disputes involving compensation and direction. The strategic window narrowed. Netflix, meanwhile, made the turn that mattered most. In 2007, it introduced streaming to subscribers. At first, the catalogue was limited, and the experience depended heavily on internet speed. But the direction was clear. The DVD was a bridge, not the destination. Netflix had used one technology shift from VHS to DVD to weaken the store. Then it used another, broadband internet, to weaken the disc itself. The company that once mailed envelopes began moving toward instant access. Blockbuster had spent years defending the trip to the store. Netflix was training customers to expect the movie to come to them. First by mail, then through the screen. Other pressures closed in. Redbox placed low-cost DVD rental kiosks in supermarkets and convenience stores, attacking quick rentals without requiring a full store. Cable companies and technology firms pushed video on demand. Retailers sold cheap DVDs. Consumers had more choices, and none of them required wandering through a large rental store with a due date attached. Blockbuster was squeezed from above by the internet, from below by kiosks, and from the side by changing home entertainment habits. The brand remained famous, but fame is not the same as relevance. A company can be known by everyone and still be used by fewer people every month. In September 2010, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy protection. The filing listed heavy debt and a business model under pressure from digital competition. Dish Network later bought the company's remaining assets. Stores closed in waves. What had been one of the most recognizable retail chains in the world shrank to a memory, then to a curiosity. Today, the last widely known Blockbuster store operates in Bend, Oregon, less as proof of the old model's strength than as a living museum of a habit that used to define weekends. The shelves, the cases, the counter, the return slot, all of it now feels like an artifact from a time when access to entertainment had geography. The $50 million meeting survives because it gives the story a perfect symbol. It turns a decade of strategic drift into one scene. The giant laughs, the upstart leaves, the future changes hands. But the truth is more revealing than the legend. Blockbuster's failure was not that it missed a single company. It missed the meaning of that company. Netflix was not valuable merely because it rented DVDs online. It was valuable because it was building a business without stores, without late fees, and eventually without discs. Blockbuster evaluated Netflix through the logic of Blockbuster. Revenues today, losses today, customers today, stores today. Netflix was operating inside the logic of what customers would soon want. Selection without shelves, convenience without travel, entertainment without penalties. The difference between $50 million and bankruptcy was not just technological, it was psychological. Blockbuster believed its advantages were permanent because they had once been overwhelming. The brand, the stores, the studio relationships, the weekend ritual, all of them were real. But when an advantage is tied to a behavior that is disappearing, scale can become weight. The more stores Blockbuster had, the harder it was to imagine a world where stores mattered less. The more money late fees produced, the harder it was to remove the irritation that competitors could eliminate. The more visible the company was on street corners, the easier it was to underestimate a company arriving quietly through the mail. In business history, disruption is rarely invisible. More often, it is visible but inconvenient. It appears too small to matter, too unprofitable to respect, or too different to fit the spreadsheet. Leaders do not always reject the future because they cannot see it. Sometimes they reject it because accepting it would force them to admit that the past has already peaked. Blockbuster did not collapse because people stopped loving movies. People loved movies as much as ever. They simply stopped needing Blockbuster to get them, and that is why the meeting in 2000 still matters. Not because a $50 million deal alone would have guaranteed survival. Ownership would not automatically have solved culture, incentives, debt, or timing. But it was a moment of recognition, and Blockbuster failed to recognize what was standing in front of it. A small company with red envelopes was not asking to be rescued. It was demonstrating the next version of the industry. Blockbuster saw a niche. Netflix saw a migration. One company was managing returns, the other was removing the need to return at all.